My name is Ellis Bell. You're in Forrest City, Arkansas. You're at my home. You're at my residence on the land that was purchased by my great-great-grandfather after he returned from the Civil War. I always wanted to be a farmer. After I finished high school in '56, I was going to stay and farm, and I decided I would leave for the winter. And I went up to St. Louis just for the winter. Well, I spent 13 years in the aircraft business. I was an aircraft mechanic. We worked on the F-4 during that time. While working there, I also took some insurance courses and became an insurance broker. And then I resigned in the aircraft field and sold insurance only, and simultaneously I always came to help my father farm. I would always come back on my vacations, or I'd take a weekend and come down here and help him farm. So when he got ready to retire in '71, I was already dibbling and dabbling and bought some land and decided I'd just come in and work the land. And of course people said I was crazy. I would never be able to work the farm and live in St. Louis. And that's when, in '72 or '73, I believe, that's when the airplane got involved in the mix, because I went out and bought an aircraft. And that allowed me to make the trips more easier, and the insurance business expanded, and the farm was expanding, and I started my nonprofit organization. It was just a godsend. I mean, it just fell into place. Knowing how I had been discriminated against, and knowing that I worked in the city, and seeing all the kids was growing up and how they had nothing to do, and I felt like that they needed to know more about where their food was coming from and things like that. So ironically, I had purchased some stock in Monsanto, and I decided one day that I would go to a stockholders meeting. After the meeting, a lot of people got up and started testifying about what Monsanto meant to them and how they had saved and how their stock had grown, et cetera, and et cetera. While sitting there, I could not stay in my seat. So I got up and I explained to the board that I read all these magazines and I saw where they was helping white kids. But I didn't see them helping black kids. And when I finished, the CEO got up and he said, "Don't go nowhere. I want to talk to you." I had no idea that I was going to be operating a nonprofit organization. But that's the only way I could have gotten any money to help others. So I went for it. We started out with FARMY, F-A-R-M-Y, Future Agricultural Resource for Minority Youth. That's how we started out operating. And at a point in time when we started getting funds from others, like the Soybean Association, we felt like that we had to drop the name minority out of there, and that's when we changed it to Bell's Agro-Science. It ran for 10 years. So we did programs in Bolivar County, Mississippi, UAPB, City of St. Louis, East St. Louis. It drove me to say that I won't be defeated out of all the hardships and out of all to say no. I always wanted to get back to the farm. I liked what I saw on the farm. I didn't like what I saw in the big cities. So today I'm still that same way. After having ran another business in the St. Louis area for about 60 years, it was always nice to be back here whenever I could. It wasn't until 1990 that they declared me as a farmer in this county. I was farming, but they didn't declare me one, so I wasn't participating in any programs or anything like that. I was just farming. Well, I'm farming about 550 acres. I'm not one of those persons who wants to farm 10,000 acres, 4,000 acres. I'm not trying to grow any more than I've grown. And I decided some time ago that I wasn't gonna get any bigger. I didn't want to be any bigger. I didn't want another acre of land and that type of thing. Just I'm kind of headstrong when it comes to, not want to get overboard, not want to go beyond my capacity to function. My relationship and my line of credit with Farm Credit Service, I go in, like everybody else, and sit down with them beginning of the year, every 3 years, and I set up my little line of credit, and that's really easy for me. I don't mind paying the interest rate that they charge, in fact, I enjoy getting the little dividend back that they give me for borrowing from them. I enjoy going and talking to Stanley, and there's other business activities that I've thought about, and buying more land, and I've gone in and talked to Stanley, and we talked about it, and he never said no. He's always tell me what he needs in order to make a informed decision, and I get him what he needs, and we go from there. So the relationship has been good. And so right now I'm proud to say that if I wanted to give it to the nonprofit or whatever, I feel free to do that, and I'm pleased with having that opportunity right now. My earlier times when I wanted to grow and be a farmer, those times weren't so pleasant. They're memorable, and of course there was a period of time between that time and this time when I got great joy. It was joyful for me to look back and think about some of the people who said no to me. And I didn't have to go back to them anymore to have them say no to me. That was joyful to me. Music to my ears. I felt good about it. I felt like God had blessed me to do something and guided me in a way that it took me to greater heights.